And you are live.
Good morning, Easter Santia. This is the one, the only, the Gorilla coming to you live on another edition of Mornings with V and CJ. CJ, the man, the myth, the legend, the denizen of the airwaves. We're on another day, and I'm a little tired, CJ. Jeez,
Yeah, it's Friday though, V. So you got
it's Friday, man. It's
put.
hump.
That's
It's
right, man.
I was gonna say it's hump day. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. It's those day. It's the day where we're all happy to get the heck out of work. But anyway, guys, it's us. We're back. It's another morning show. Check us out on Rogue Money. Check us out on at the Rogue Money on Twitter. You can follow us on the Rogue Money Facebook. With that being said, also check out our. If you have an Apple device, check out the podcasting app. Just go to the podcast system, type in Rogue Money, and voila, Rogue Money. We are right there. And you can check us out. Also, if you have an Android device, you can just download Pocket Cast and type in Rogue Money. We're there. If you have the Apple iPhone, again, another iOS device, just type in within Apple News Rogue Money, and boom, we're there. With that out of the way, guys, again, if you're having debt problems, you need your improvement in credit score, check out my boys over at myfreedomnow.us, myfreedomnow.us, where we can give you the credit score that you deserve. With that out of the way, CJ, and another sip of my dark roast, what is going on with you, man? How's your morning going along?
My morning's going great. Second cup of coffee working.
Uh-huh.
It's Friday. Pumped up. We got some great shows today. Got a live broadcast tonight that's going to be spectacular. So I'm pumped up. And you
Yeah,
know
I'm
what I'm
pumped
most
up
excited
too.
about, V?
What's up, man?
You know what I'm most excited about? More
What?
days left of Obama.
Yes,
I'm
yes. You
counting
know what?
down the days, man.
No, man. Straight up, man.
We need to have
I
like a
am
party that night.
like 7 more days now till he's gone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Dude,
7 days.
I can't wait till that happens. I can't wait till he's gone. Um, oh my God, can't it can't that day can't come here fast enough, bro. There's so many things to be done in 2017. I'm excited. I'm excited for everybody. I'm excited for all the people that listen into shows like this and get motivated and pumped up and go look for opportunities to make themselves awesome. It's a great year to do it, CJ.
It is, and I'm witnessing some people doing some really cool things out there. Whether starting a new podcast or if you got a knack for redoing furniture and trimming it up and decking it out and starting some of that. Yeah, so I think the spirit of entrepreneurship V is gonna be thriving and alive.
Oh man, it's going to be awesome, and I think it's going to be a new boom. It's going to be a renaissance. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm absolutely excited for it. I can't wait. And last night, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Nintendo revealed their new Switch. Did you see the reveal on that, man?
I saw the link and I was occupied. I was real tempted to leave what I was doing, but I was working V, so I was like, I better
Dude,
not, because once I start,
yeah, bro. I was right before I went to bed last night. I don't even know what time it was. Like 1, 2 in the morning, and I just saw the thing flat. I'm like, oh crap! It was today the unveiling. I checked it out, man. I'm like, ooh, I am tempted to pre-order. It is a pretty exciting piece of hardware for a pretty awesome price, and I'm just like, wow, this looks pretty good.
so what's the biggest difference? What were they? How they
It's
repackaging it? Or
well, it's portable. It's almost as powerful as a PS4. It's portable, and you can take it anywhere. And then when you're done, you can just come home. You can slap it onto your TV, and boom, you're playing it on your television. It's pretty crazy, So that's the very unique aspect of it. You can kind of take it anywhere, as well as it's like taking portable and a home console and putting it all together. And me, man, dude, I'm a Mario fan. I've been playing Mario Brothers since I was a kid,
yeah.
and Zelda and all the original franchises that I love. So that's gonna be dope. I mean, I'm not a gamer head like one of these guys, but it's just whenever I get some free time, bro. I mean, typically I'm wrecking it up in Call of Duty or Titanfall or something.
I don't want to read. I don't want to read about some gorilla found in an internet cafe in New York after a
Oh,
24-hour gaming binge.
yeah, Oh man, you me and Dex should start a gaming channel. Start going at it. Oh
That is
man.
on the radar. That is on the radar.
Absolutely, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So what's on the what's on the radar for today, bro? I mean, there's so many things going on, man. What's the deal?
Well, the elites, they can't figure out how they lost the narrative.
Oh
They're
man.
very upset that the winds of change brought in a freaking tornado.
Right.
They didn't see that the entire world is waking up, that nationalism is rising.
Right.
And yeah, so the elite Davos group have a meeting coming up. So that'll be interesting to see what comes of that.
You know, this is about as relevant as last week when we had the top economists in the world meeting in Chicago. This whole thing with the Davos and these guys, you know, each year late here it is, each year late January, global leaders and you know politicians and plutocrats and kleptocrats, they all get together. They make a pilgrimage to the sound of the town of Davos, Switzerland, where they sit around and circle jerk each other for a couple of days. The 2,000 or so elites are the Davos men and comparatively few women, a term coined by the political scientist Samuel Huntington. The average age of listen to this. The average age of this Davos consortium is over 50 years old. They are predominantly male, with only 1 in 5 being female. They represent around 1,000 organizations from 100 countries, and although the largest population are from Western Europe and North America, pretty much the West, because the idiots that are dumb enough to get involved in this crap. Over the course of several days, their views, strategies, and policies are captured by the paparazzi and the adoring media. In the recent years, the World Economic Forum, if that's an oxymoron, if I ever read one, has focused on economic matters, another oxymoron, and the new global context, encompassing conflicts, instability, and political, economic, technological changes. But in truth, little of the consequences happens at Davos. The real genius of Davos is the stupid concept itself, founded in 71 by an economist, a Keynesian circle jerker by the name of Klaus Schwab. It taps into the world's voyeurism and innate shallowness. For 2016, the theme is Mastering the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I'm going to stop reading right there, bro. Okay? That's the theme for this. See, their whole thing is global governance, right? And
Absolutely.
this article is perfect because you see this Klaus Schwab who's just, he looks like a maniacal control freak. He looks like a tyrant. This old guy is probably in the 70s. And he's probably holding, you know, the picture is him holding his hands to the brow of his face, and he is wondering, okay, what is going on? He's probably wondering, where is everybody in this year's Davos? Well, the point is this: this is their basic bitch fest. This is where they just get there and cry and bitch about the fact that their new world order hasn't come to power. This is the part where they just cry and whine and what went wrong and how could this happen? How come global governance didn't come to the forefront? How come this? Wah, wah, wah. Just please pass out the Kleenex at Davos, please. This is what's going on. These guys are obso elites. They are pushing a defunct and obsolete idea as global government, CJ, and a decentralizing world. Explain that one to me, bro. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I don't mind wealthy people. You earned it. You worked hard. You earned your wealth. I'm all for that, right? But
Yeah.
why do these 1%, not 1%, the 0.03% wealth feel that they have a more obligation to feel that they can impact societies and change societies?
Jesus,
I mean,
man,
that
yeah,
just absurd, right? I mean, come on.
yeah, it's
Are we not a free will and free people?
right,
And
right.
then if you look at their talent, what's happened? They've pretty much have destroyed a lot of the economies around the globe.
Oh man, I mean that's all these guys do. Okay, they destroy all sorts of economies throughout the world. Um, they've done everything in their power to create massive amounts of issues, you know, throughout the world. And you know, my point is this, man. It's you know, I am absolutely dumbfounded at the unending, ceaseless hubris, bro. Ceaseless hubris And it's like you and I both know, like the the aristocracy in the United States, and they're in panic. They're in panic. And yesterday, man, you sent me a clip from RT. Like, what's up with that? I mean, because we're gonna jump right from the whole Davos thing because I think this is linked in. Okay, this is the desperate, the butthurt global government guys meeting Davos, crying and weeping over each other. Passing the Kleenex. The previous week, you had the butthurt economists, the Keynesians that were meeting together, and panicking. And then last night, bro, we had an event in Syria. What happened in Syria for the listeners, man, so they understand what the heck's going on?
Yeah. Roger that. So last night, Israel decided to bomb an airport in Damascus, in Syria.
Yeah.
And this just came out of nowhere. Apparently, there was a little few scuttles across, but last night, Syrian state agency was reporting that Israeli jets bombed the Meza military airport west of Damascus, accusing Tel Aviv of supporting terrorism. The airport was rocked by multiple explosions, with ambulances rushing to the scene. Now, they're not reporting specifically how many were killed in this feat, but like I messaged you last night, I was like, where did this come from? How does this make sense? Why would Israel do this? But yeah, I mean, so this happened last night, and Syria is not going to take it laying down. They're promising to retaliate for this bombing.
Yeah, this is the most dumbest thing in the world, and again, I don't know, if this was actually an Israeli jet. I don't know if this was rogue elements within the Israeli Air Force. I don't know. We don't know if this whole thing was a false flag. Okay, to blame Israel, because Israel's been damn really quiet. Look, Israel's not perfect. And I'm not saying that that they're blameless here, but we don't know. And the quick knee jerk, oh, what the hell? Look at these crazy Israelis. But hold on, what if it wasn't the crazy Israelis? Because Israel's been pretty darn quiet. There's been a lot of rhetoric, okay, between, and a lot of rhetoric between Netanyahu, and Putin. And the last several months, here's what's weird about this, CJ. You and I have both been tracking this. Last several months, Israel seems like it's like quietly realigning itself with the whole Sino-Russian tilt. The whole entire Sino-Russian, the Chinese-Russian balance of power in the Middle East. And now this occurs, that doesn't make quite sense, man.
You see that pivot, and then you see what let's just face it, the UN is the US, right? I mean, we pretty much dictate their actions, regarding what transpired with the East Bank, with the UN resolution. And then this comes out of nowhere. Just kind of leads me to believe, are they trying to create a new hotspot with Israel and Syria? It just doesn't make sense as to the timing of it. They just signed an agreement, and now you wonder, Russia's take on this, or are they smart enough to understand that, hey, before anything happens, we really need to get a better understanding of how and why this happened.
Yeah, and the whole thing also is they hit an air base that's off the coast off the side of Damascus, where the S-300, S-400s were not deployed. So for them to do this strike again, if the Russians have moved an S-300, S-400 into that area, they're not flying anything in there. They're not. You're not flying. You're not flying a paper airplane in that area, because that's how vaunted that air defense system is. It's the best there is in the world. So this is quite interesting because, we've known that the S-300, S-400 batteries were in the northern parts of Syria. They were outside Damascus. Nobody was expecting. See, if you look at the S-300, S-400 layouts of where they put it in Syria, they put it along the north, where all the heat of the battle was, with Aleppo, this, that, and the other, because there's a lot of crap going on over there. That's where the coalition fighters are flying in from, the Turkish Air Force are flying in from. And so they left it there. Nobody was expecting a hit from the south into Damascus off to the side from Israel because, again, Israel was quiet for a couple of months. So why did this happen? Is this actually Israel? Is it a false flag? Is it a rogue element? Because we know the globalists are absolutely butthurt. We know that they are absolutely panicked. So is this a desperation play in order to foment something? We can only speculate at this time. We can only speculate from our angle. But I'm sure Putin has the real intel. And his response is going to be incredibly measured. He is playing a multipolar, multi-sided chess game with all these globalists, and he's kicking the crap out of them. And these guys, these globalists, it's funny if you notice, these globalists have 7 days left before their world is turned upside down. There's a lot of rhetoric out there, CJ, that there's the assassination attempt on Trump, this, that, and the other. All the stuff that's going out there, they are really ratcheting up the rhetoric. They're desperate because their world view is about to end, man.
Yeah, their worldview and some accountability is coming too.
Yeah.
Netanyahu recently had been, undermined, quite a bit by the U.S. So you're absolutely right. Within the IDF, is there a rogue sank that has partnered to do this? Yeah. So it's obviously, yes, just completely speculation. I just really question the timing of it.
Yeah, exactly. The timing of it is really, really fishy, man. I mean, you got a lot of, Israeli industrialists who can't wait to link up the Leviathan platform to all the other energy dealings that's happening with Russia, with China especially, and I mean with Russia especially, and all the opportunities that are going to be emerging in the Middle East when we have this peace, when we wipe out these terror groups, and all of a sudden this thing happens, man. It's very, very, it's very suspect because here's the deal, man. I mean, we know, okay, like I said, this article right here in Strategic Culture, okay, great article. U.S. aristocracy panics that maybe Trump is serious. Yes, he's very serious, okay, and that's what they're panicked about. The thing with Trump, he's opposed to both parties. He's opposed to both parties, and he absolutely loathes them. He cannot stand them. Okay, and that is the fear that they're starting to realize is that he's significantly opposed to both parties, and especially the foreign policies. Because this is what I said. When we had that handover the last 30 years, we handed over from Bush 1 to Clinton to Bush 2 to Obama. Okay, during those years, it was a smooth transition. Foreign policy never really changed. Okay, that's when the Cold War ended and we're transitioning into the new millennium, and yet our footing, our stance, okay, upon the world did not change. Bush 1 ensured that we took a much more aggressive posture in Russia, number one, and number two, we took a very aggressive posture towards containing Russia. Russia's economy was in shambles. Russia's GDP at that time, CJ, was $195 billion, or $195 billion a year. It was dismal. It was tepid. It was nothing. Okay, Boris Yeltsin was drinking himself stupid almost every other day. It was a joke. It was the reign of the oligarchs. Russia was turning into a failed state that was being run by oligarchs. It was becoming a haunt of narcotics trafficking, which went through the roof, human trafficking, which went through the roof. It was child trafficking. All the things, all the evil things that were happening was happening in Russia because of Western influence. And all of a sudden, the oligarchs got together and said, hey, you know what, we need to get a figurehead to run this because, Boris Yeltsin is he's on his way out. And they thought they were getting a timid KGB general. A timid KGB general who played them all like fools. I'm sorry, a KGB colonel. And they chose Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. Okay? And Comrade Putin came in, lowly, shy little Putin, and he crushed all of them. And in the 13, 14 years since Putin, Russian GDP went from 195 billion to 2.3 trillion. It went having a The average Russian pension, I believe, at that time was 500 rubles per month. Now it's 10,000 rubles per month. Russian income went from 1,500 rubles a month to 20 or 30, almost 30,000 rubles per month. Their debt, which was almost at 80% of GDP, he brought it down to less than 8% GDP. These are monumental changes. And he is, if when people look back at the rise of nationalism globally, when the history books are written, CJ, people are going to be talking about Trump, this, that, and the other. The main man, I got to give credit to where credit's due. The main man that kicked out the Rothschilds, that kicked out the Rockefellers, that got the party started was none other than Vladimir Putin, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You nailed it. That's entirely true. And then part of the reason why they're fighting so hard, V, is that, they've been able to control U.S. policy, for so long, not only U.S. policy, but globally. And now you're seeing where that entire global U.S. influence has changed. It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You not only do you see it economically, you see it, geopolitically, and the strategy that's being involved with China and Russia as they continue to help develop other countries, as they develop the infrastructure, their banking. V, I want to give a really quick update in regards to the airstrikes. And apparently they were, this is reported from Russia Insider, just did a quick search on it.
Oh, cool.
It states the most interesting aspect of the strike, however, is how it was conducted. Instead of bombing the military airfield from the air, Israel launched surface-to-surface missiles against it. Israel
so it wasn't hit from the air by aircraft.
Right.
This way, okay. Just in case there were some S-300s or 400s in the area, okay.
Israel may very well have decided to carry out the attack in this manner because of anti-aircraft systems Russia had deployed in Syria, which you talked about. Syrian news agency reported the strike caused no deaths or injuries. Israel, per its policy, refused to confirm if it had carried out the strike. So so again, going back to this whole narrative, okay, what really happened here?
Exactly. Like what really happened? Like, what is going on? Unreal, man. Unreal. Which brings us to, geez, man, they really are getting desperate, bro. They want to start something. Which not only coincides also with all the saber rattling that's been happening, right?
It is. So now you look at the dangerous game that the United States is playing in Poland.
Yeah.
Where for, gosh, not since World War II we have put enough troops and weapons there in Poland, which is, a direct threat to Russia. I mean, they're not going to get intimidated by this. They're not going to act, but here we go with the saber rattling. So we're putting this mass amount of weapons and now troops there on close to Russia's border. So what's the end game here, folks? What are you hoping for? That they're going to launch a first strike? Is that what they truly want? And this is all backed by Obama and NATO.
It's disgusting, man. This is some serious posturing. This is some serious saber rattling, and you know what the whole thing is? This is like you're playing chicken. It's like a chicken playing chicken against a bear. It's a chicken playing chicken it's like a chicken is over there. He's like poking this huge ferocious grizzly bear. And and I'm looking at the images here. Okay, let's take a look at the U.S. is moving heavy equipment into the area. Okay, I'm taking a look at this heavy equipment. First of all, we have hundreds upon hundreds of up-armored Humvees, which are absolutely useless. We have the M1A2 main battle tank, which, as we've seen, used by the Saudis against Houthi rebels who utilize Russian Cornet missiles, CJ. These M1A2s, which were at that time, thanks to the military-industrial marketers, I can't even call them industrial complex anymore, CJ. They don't make good stuff anymore. So I'm going to call them the military-industrial marketers. The M1A2 was the most vaunted tank in the world. Even though it actually loses competition to the Leopard 2 A26, which is the finest tank in the world, the German tank. Actually, it's not the finest. It's the second best tank in the world compared to the Russian T-14 Armata, which is an absolute monster. Now, back to the M1A2. The M1A2, okay, they're moving 80 main battle tanks. Okay, these things go up like Roman candles when they're hit by a Cornet missile. Okay, they go up like Roman candles. I mean, when you see the picture of an Iraqi M1A2 going up because it was hit by a Cornet, or a Saudi M1A2 going up when it was hit by a Cornet, dude, it's like the guys that were inside the tank had no chance. The whole entire tank was spouting molten lava in seconds from the hit, and we're sending those up there. I mean, are you kidding me? This is a multi-million-dollar tank that's getting wrecked by a $10,000 missile. Unbelievable. It's stupid. Okay, and they're talking about the Trump factor. More than 80 main battle tanks and hundreds of vehicles are already deployed in Germany and are now being moved to Eastern Europe by road and rail. Part of the force entered at Poland's Oslia border, crossing with Germany on Thursday. The plan is to rotate forces every 9 months. Other nations involved in the look at the vaunted allies that we have here. That's going to show the muscle.
So intimidating.
So intimidating. Roll call, CJ. Who are these countries that are going to be with us to intimidate the Russians? Roll call. Go ahead, bro.
We have. So is that Lithuania, Poland?
Oh man, ooh,
I'm shaking in my boots right now.
Latvia. Ooh, and let's not forget the powerhouse that is Estonia. Oh, so frightened.
Well, we can't forget about Bulgaria. I mean, they're
oh my,
just insane. And V, to think that this is happening just a few days before a transfer of power, and we're putting 3,000 troops in Poland, and 3,000 troops isn't enough to do anything. It's not really going to intimidate everyone. It's just pure stupidity on the part of Obama and the NATO that obviously we need to get completely out of once Trump is in office. But this isn't going to intimidate anything to Putin. Yeah, he's going to be monitoring and everything, but this isn't going to get a reaction from him. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. They're trying to create as much global tension as possible. It's unreal, man. It's unreal how desperate these fools are getting. Like, who are they trying to intimidate? It's like a bunch of kindergarten kids, man. You can only laugh at these fools. Unreal, man. Unreal.
Yeah.
So moving away from all the crazy globalists and all their shenanigans, man, for a second, like, what else is going on, man? What's on the radar scope here?
Well, that Rand Paul's been really pushing hard for the auditing out of the Federal Reserve, and I watched the testimony that he provided, yesterday on the Senate floor, and very compelling as to that, why, as everyday Americans, need to understand the intricacies of the Federal Reserve and how it works. So there was an interesting article that came out on from Wall Street regarding the Fed pays banks $12 billion on excessive reserves taken from taxpayers' pockets. And it was discovered in 2016 the Fed paid our favorite banks $12 billion in interest on their excess reserves held in 12 regional Federal Reserve banks. But who's actually paying the $12 billion is just a well-earned freebie for the banks, conjured up out of nothing in Fed style. No, it's not. So where did this $12 billion come from to the banks? You got it, V. That came from us, the taxpayers.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to be fleeced, man. That's our job. We're the sheep, and for the hirelings who protect us, they like to not only abuse us, but they like to fleece us for our for what we got, milk us, and then kill us and eat us. That's what they've been doing for a while, and now the sheep have decided to have some balls and some brains, and now the tables have been turned. It's unreal to see that this piece of information is out there, that we paid over $12 billion to the banks. So let me get this straight, CJ. The banks have all the benefits of nationalization. They get to get bailed out. They get supported by taxpayer funds, and and all the risks were given over to us. In other words, they've nationalized the risks and they privatized the profits. Insanity, bro.
Exactly.
Insanity. It says over here, according to the Federal Reserve's preliminary estimates of its 2016 results, it will pay the Treasury Department $92 billion. That's down from $97 billion it paid the Treasury in 2015. Part of the reason why the payment is lower is the Fed is paying the banks more on excess reserves. I mean, this whole circle jerk maneuver that they're doing. We sit here, we wonder why. We wonder why money velocity is dead. We wonder why that the more and more and more of the stimulus is doing nothing but creating more and more capital destruction. We're wondering why, all this is leading to capital malformation. Well, here's the reason. This is exactly what's going on. Unbelievable, my friend. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and kind of like you hit, yesterday when you look at the Fed and how supposedly they're earning money, it's claiming that they earn interest, that their interest income from 2.46 trillion in Treasury securities, and you're going to love this, V. And their interest income comes from 1.74 trillion in agency mortgage-backed securities.
Oh, look at that. The vaunted MBS that is keeping the entire thing afloat and helping to prop up a bubble. It's unbelievable. But with every tick of the interest rate, how much more can they keep that bubble propped up? It just can't, man. It's speaking of I think somebody reached out to us and actually was inviting me. This is
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a guy
national mortgage or national
it's the largest
real estate. Yeah.
real estate podcasting in the entire world. It's the biggest podcast that deals with real estate, and invited on to go on there and speak about the shadow inventory. I've been talking about this thing forever, and we've known about shadow inventory. We saw it first in Ireland is where the pop happened before, and then to us. I mean, you look at the tens of millions of homes that are on shadow inventory. It'll take us. My God, if it will take us, when you look at our population, I think the math that was done, and I forgot which institution did the math or which firm did the math, but if you do the math, I think it was it averaged out to about 300 years it would take if we sold X amount of houses per week. It would take us 300 years to fill those houses based on current population trends in the United States. I mean, that's how many houses they have out there. I mean, you see how vital it is, dude. I mean, there's no. Here's what kills me, man. I don't know if you saw this meme or not, but there was a meme out there where Trump is sitting with I think Jimmy Fallon or one of these late night talk show guys, and the meme says, "Yeah, I'm going to get rid of your Obama phones and switch it with an alarm clock."
That is classic.
Yeah,
instant class. I did not see it, but you need to put that out there. That is hilarious. Yeah,
that meme. Dude, it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and because one of the things that Trump wants to do is get rid of the Obama phone thing to begin with. There's no reason. Like I look at my Verizon bill, I think it's like $19 per month or something like that in taxes that are, and I think are going to support schleprocks who refuse to do something productive, and it goes to them to allow them to have a phone. No, what Trump's going to do is going to bring back the old school, CJ, where you had pay phones all over the place.
That's right.
You don't even know about hitting pay. Boom. Do that. And that's what he wants to build. It's brilliant maneuver. Okay. And that's a great way to curtail waste. Obama phones. I mean, you got to be kidding me. How about getting rid of it's absolutely right, that meme. How about, get rid of your Obama phones and give you some alarm clocks? Imagine you got a productive society where everybody's working. And then if everybody's working, man, it's there's no reason with the amount of homes we have in shadow inventory, there's no reason why anybody should be homeless. There's no reason for it. I mean, all this stuff was built out. The guys who were involved, the banks who were involved in funding it and building it out and putting all the money into this housing bubble, the real players, they've already been paid out 10 times over. They've already been paid out 10 times over, man. Anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And maybe I'm coining this wrong, but isn't this Fed payout to the banks, isn't it really just more of quantitative easing? Isn't it, just pumping more money out to the banks? I mean, isn't that?
Ding, 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 ding. Give that man a cigar. CJ, you nailed it, bro. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. It's
let's
more.
just pump out more money.
That's it. It's not, people like, oh, QE ended. No, it didn't, man. I mean, QE is doing its thing. It's doing its thing, and it hasn't really stopped. They just, rerouted the cash flow here and there, but it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped at all. Now, here's something that why don't you tell the audience, man, what we called?
Yeah. So is the whole. Everyone knows about the whole India thing and their push to bring in was it the 500 note and the 1,000 note?
Yeah.
That they wanted to supposedly bring this in, and they're going to issue new ones that, by the way, had over 9 printing mistakes that could lead to counterfeiting, and that's what they were supposedly fighting against. But that's a whole other story. But interesting enough, an article has came out from a German financial journalist, Norbert Herring,
Yeah.
who has came out to state that in early November, without warning, the Indian government declared the 2 largest denomination bills invalid, abolishing over 80% of the circulating cash, which we know about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a little hidden secret is that U.S. President Barack Obama has declared his strategic partnership with India a priority of his foreign policy, and he declared that China needs to be reined in. In the context of this partnership, the U.S. government's agency, USAID, has negotiated cooperation agreements with the Indian Ministry of Finance. One of these has the declared goal to push back the use of cash in favor of digital payments to India and globally. So boom, there it is.
Unreal, man. The look, this guy Modi came into office in India as the new prime minister. Um, you know, this guy's really turned into a demagogue. There's some angles here. This is the stupid political act. The worst thing, and the Indians have been, members of the non-aligned countries. Countries that never chose a side during the Cold War. And if they go full on, and again, this is how it is, and with 7 days left of globalist rule. This is a stupid maneuver. If they think they're going to rein in China, and I don't know, regionally, the Chinese and the Indians have always been rivals. I get it. But if they think they're going to rein in China on this, they got another reality check coming to them. Okay, this whole disaster that has been done with, that's been done with the currencies was absolutely disastrous. And here's the funny part. I was wondering who's stupid enough to, and I've discussed this with Tone Vase on the program last Friday. I was wondering who was stupid enough to even issue the idea of, let's have a brilliant idea. Let's create digital payments in India. Like, what? How are you going to do that? Like 50% of the country's like in backwaters. There's no infrastructure there. How the heck are you going to pull this off? Excuse me, sneezing. But how are you going to pull this off? Like, it's you have maybe 5 hotspots in the subcontinent where there's, it's populous, it's developed, it's, I can understand it. I see it, supporting digital currency because it's already supporting Bitcoin. But to come out with digital payments for everybody, what? I mean, you go to the certain northern regions, it's absolutely tribal. It's like Africa. It's absolutely tribal in certain parts. And they're going to be involved in digital payment. How? It's beyond me, man.
Right. And here's the thing. If you look at the entire reason that you're going to love this, V, the entire reason that they decided to do this was back in September, an agency called the McKinsey Global Institute issued a report titled How Digital Finance Could Boost Growth in Emerging Economies. Well, yeah, digital finance, you mean fake numbers, right? I mean,
sure.
The authors acknowledge collaboration with the financial services for the poor team, and it's POR capitalized, so it was basically a section of this, of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Oh, how lovely. So Bill Gates is like, hello, India. You know, if I haven't killed you enough with some polio shots and some polio vaccines that my foundation gave out, here's some digital payments to go along with the GMO I'm also peddling that also made your farmers commit suicide. Here you go. And the freaking stupid morons over there in India that are governing the country, these corrupt idiots. I mean, dude, I'm telling you right now, you get caught with murder in a country like that, you pay the right person, you're getting away scot-free. I kid you, shit you not. Okay, and the thing is this: these, this is why, guys, America's unique. This is why we're special. When you look at a nation like India, where it is the quote unquote, believe it or not, it is the birthplace of democracy. Democracy was first invented there. Then it was taken over to the Greeks and then perfected in the West. And we are the jewel in the crown, the United States. We are a constitutional republic. That is a jewel in the crown concept. Never, ever been done before in human history. The beauty of us versus the nation that actually invented democracy, the beauty of us is this. We have a concept of true liberty and true freedom. That is what it is. People like those that are living in the subcontinent of India, they don't fight back against tyranny. More often than not, what do? They just simply go along with it because they accept it as being life. It's just one of those weird things. It's like, I got friends of mine who are German. It's just, they just follow rules. Once a rule's a rule, it's a rule, right? It's just, they can't, with us, it's our maverick spirit. It's our independent drive that makes us awesome. And I'm thankful to God that in 2016, guys, we got our balls back. We got our chutzpah back. And I say balls, I mean like courage. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you can still have balls. I know a lot of ballsy women. Okay, so it's
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There are women out there who have more balls than men. Okay, so don't be offended by my term of saying balls. But that's the whole point. It's we have that swagger. We have that swag that no other country in the world has. I mean, the only other country that probably match us in that swag, believe it or not, is probably the Russians. They got that same swag. Okay, they've been through the shitter, and now they're out of it. Now they've rediscovered who they are. Right? So, that's the thing. But upon the face of the earth, we are very unique. So look at this. This is a country that invented the democracy, and here they are taking. Okay, this was so stupid. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has led to the deaths of thousands of Indians, to the point where certain states in India were suing the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for all the complications with the vaccine. Secondly, Monsanto.
Yep.
Indian government pushed back against Monsanto years ago. The old government, before Modi came in, pushed back against Monsanto, banned them from ever coming in. We had tens of thousands of farmers that were committing suicide because they couldn't plant next year's crop because they didn't have the money to Monsanto, who sold them the first round of seeds for dirt cheap, and the second round they raised up the price to the point where the farmers couldn't afford it. Okay? Those farmers committed suicide, thousands of them, and then the Indian government kicked out Monsanto. So they're learning, hey, maybe these crazy freaking Western stooges are not to be trusted. Fast forward to Modi. What does Modi do? Because he's a demagogue. He's an absolute demagogue. The first thing he does is overnight, without warning, except to his cohort cronies. Okay, he issues a warrant. Overnight, he bans these notes. And then he puts in capital restrictions on how much you could take out, how much you could put in. Screwing up the economy in a major way over there. And then on top of that, okay, he's going to push out digital payments based on who? The McKinsey Global Institute, the Bill Melinda, none of whom live in the country, none of whom don't know customs, how people. That is a cash-based economy. This is the stupidity of it. This is a country where, my God, I mean, they had public policies to urge people not to, use the bathroom out in the public, but to actually go to find a toilet. They're one of their biggest infrastructure initiatives in many parts of northern India and whatnot were building toilets in public places. You're gonna tell me, dude, I've traveled to certain parts of Southeast Asia. Okay, I mean, you go from beautiful first world cities to oh my God, this guy's taking a dump in the corner in the woods. Like, what the F? Okay, you go to train stations, you see people just standing on the line on the side just urinating. And they're pushing out digital payments on. I mean, get the hell out of here. I mean, that's the hubris, CJ. That's the hubris. It's just not going to work, man.
No, it's not gonna work. And their whole promise, oh, this is gonna boost your GDP by 10%, right? Come on,
Jeez.
give me a break. Moving to digital currencies, and here's the thing, V, exactly how you said that the technology that most of the people in India do not have, bank accounts. Yes, digital currency in terms of, that we're not talking about Bitcoin, things like that. We're talking about being able to manipulate the numbers, right? We're talking about being able to electronically easily manipulate the banking system there in India by bringing that cash in. It did absolutely nothing to help those folks there. It created a lot of hardship. There's been videos posted that there for a while that there was the banks, there was a run on the banks. ATM withdrawals were limited to to $200 a day. I mean,
Yeah.
these globalists and their ideas of managing the world, they just need to stay the heck out.
Yeah,
My gosh.
1000%. 1000%. I knew they were going to do whatever they can to take out the BRICS. I knew the Westerners were going to do something. I knew what the targets were. I knew Brazil was a major target. And they've taken out Dilma Rousseff and they put in Michael Temer, who was an absolute shill for the CIA, the Cocaine Import Agency. We'll see what happens to Temer after Trump gets in. But then I knew the South Africa's been weathering the storm with Joseph Zuma, who's been weathering controversy after controversy after controversy, and coming out and saying, "Hey, it's not me; it's actually the Western proxies that are trying to take me out." And then you got the whole thing with India, but India is a unique case because when you look at who the hell's in charge of the freaking central bank in India, well, it's Raghuram Rajan. Raghuram Rajan is he's a Chicago boy, man. He's an IMF stooge. Okay, and here's the thing: this guy's been the helm of the Reserve Bank of India since September 2013. From 2003 to 2006, he's been the chief economist of the IMF in Washington. Okay, he's a member of the Group of 30, which is a rather very shady and dubious organization where high-ranking representatives of world major commercial financial institutions share their thoughts and plans with presidents of the most important central banks behind closed doors with no minutes taken. It becomes increasingly clear that the Group of 30 is one of the major coordination centers of the worldwide war on cash. Its membership includes other key warriors like Rogoff, Larry Summers, and others. Raghuram Rajan has ample reason to expect to climb further to the highest rungs of the international finance, and thus had good reason to play Washington's game well. He already was a president of the American Finance Association, so already he's a stooge. He's an Atlanticist stooge who's there to lick the boots of the Anglo-American banking structure. Okay, he won the handsomely endowed prizes of Infosys for economic research and of Deutsche Bank. Oh, there's a good prize to be had for financial economics, as well as the Financial Times Goldman Sachs Prize for the best economics book. Oh, he won the Financial Times Goldman Sachs Prize for the best economic book. He was declared Indian of the Year by NASCOM and Central Banker of the Year by Euromoney and The Banker. He is considered a possible successor to Christine Lagarde. Ah, look at this. He's a successor to the giraffe-necked woman at the helm of the IMF, but can certainly also expect to be considered for other top jobs in international. So he's a bootlicker. He's a Keynesian bootlicker. I would like to call him a neo-Keynesian bootlicker because these modern Keynesians are not really like John Keynes to the fullest extent. But anyway, a Keynesian bootlicker nonetheless. And this is the guy who thought in his brilliant mind, digital currencies. How like you have to be this educated to be this stupid. You have to be this educated to be this stupid. It's unbelievable, CJ.
It is. It just gives you a little bit of insight into the entire, global perspective of their view on the world and, the influence. It's just craziness.
And they're going to contain China. Meanwhile, what's China doing with the South China Sea, bro? They're going to contain.
Oh wow, wow, right? I mean, it's just amazing the infrastructure, the development that's happening.
Yep.
So Beijing is finishing up the actual development of the creation of the control infrastructures in the South China Sea, which you've been talking about this for at least what 2 or 3 years now, right?
Hmm.
At
Yep,
least.
at least.
So this, yeah. So they're finishing this up, and it's well on the way. The military, the Chinese military, with the techniques that they're using.
Yeah.
This is just amazing development that's going to change a lot of things there for the entire South China Sea. Vietnam, the Philippines. There's a reason why in terms of the pivot that you're seeing there away from the United States. So you want to break this out for us, V?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The whole thing with the South China Sea and why the South China Sea is so damn important is this. Okay. You have the Strait of Malacca. Okay. The Strait of Malacca is basically the little strait that's between Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and whatnot. And the Strait of Malacca is where the majority of China's energy is flowing through. Now, China's, doing whatever they can to build a land bridge, which is the New Silk Road. And so, but the Strait of Malacca is something that can easily be shut off because of the U.S. naval involvement. China goes out, starts building 6 islands. The Atlantists get their panties in a bunch, start accusing them of aggressive expansion. Aggressive expansion. Okay, we can put military equipment 30 miles from the border of Russia, and we call it military exercise. China goes ahead and develops 6 islands that are historically theirs since 640 A.D. Theirs, and all of a sudden it's aggressive expansion. Okay, whatever. So the Chinese, their whole islands. Okay, why they have been building up these islands is to ensure that the free flow of energy continues to go to their nation without any hindrance from the U.S. That's a great strategy to follow. And to put some teeth into it, the infrastructure they built up, CJ, okay, they have basically built up a military strategy and weapon systems that's designed to take out a U.S. carrier, a U.S. carrier battle group. Okay, they have stuff out there that's designed to intercept F-18 Hornets. Okay, they have the infrastructure out there to create the anti-radar missiles that, if they were being jammed, it can hone in on the U.S. military equipment and U.S. naval warships. These are the things that are out there, and you know what? They're done. They're just about done finishing this, and this is what the U.S. was considered. The chicken hawks that were in the Atlanticists, the globalist cadre, were completely worried about, because now it's done. You're not going to challenge them in the South China Seas no more. If you try to, it'll be a big ugly mess, because now they have airfields there. They have some pretty advanced aircraft over there. They have a lot of things in play to help deter any sort of invader. So they've locked up that area, so they can just relax and chill. So this whole containment thing of trying to get India to get on board with this whole entire thing of what they're trying to do, to contain China, is going to backfire. It's going to severely backfire. So it's interesting because India is split. Even though the politicians are licking the boots of the U.S. right now, the old military guys, the old industrialists, still have a very close tie with Moscow as well as Beijing. So let's see how this plays out, especially into the new era under a Trump administration, bro.
Absolutely. And the BRICS, they've been opening up to Trump, specifically stating, hey, you know what, come aboard, come join with the rest of the BRICS. And so it's a very exciting time, V. Very, very exciting time to watch this unfold. And we do need to become part of that. We have to get out of our shell, if you will, of our TPP and TTIP, whatever the initials are. But those are done. I mean, they're dead on arrival. So
Yeah, absolutely. So what's going on with the UN letting child abusers and molesters go free? What is this I hear?
yeah, this just really angers me, because you look at the history of what happens with the UN and when they send the troops. And a few weeks back, I may have even did it on the Friday Live show, I talked about a movie called The Whistleblower that details out how several of the UN forces that were there participated in rape, torture, kidnap, even human trafficking in Bosnia during that time period. So if you haven't checked it out, it's a great film called The Whistleblower. And this is dated back, quite a while ago. Regarding she was actually worked for the UN and actually detailed out the crimes that had committed and brought forth a very compelling case against these so-called peacekeepers. Well, the darn thing has happened again. So UN peacekeepers in Africa were committing crimes against children as young as 7 years of age.
Oh my God.
7 years of age, yeah. And basically the crimes that were committed against them. And again, there was another, I'll just go ahead and read it real quick. Accusation against U.S. peacekeepers, particular soldiers hailing from France and European Union, first began to emerge almost as soon as soldiers themselves had arrived. Though the initial reports of sexual abuse of minors seemed isolated at first, evidence began to appear suggesting that the abuse was much more widespread than previously thought, likely involving hundreds of separate incidents. Then, in early 2015, a senior UN aid worker blew the whistle on the rampant sexual abuse of children by UN troops.
Jeez.
Andrew Kambas, the then director of field operations for the peacekeeping operation, leaked an internal UN report detailing horrendous abuses of children by soldiers in the French authorities. So, so here we go again. So the whole thing is happening with the UN. And to make a long story short, there were some soldiers that they did bring charges against, but these French courts, these French judges have decided not to prosecute these individuals. So the UN is getting away with this thing again, and it's over and over that this is happening. It's just gosh awful, V. It's just terrible.
It's unbelievable, man. It's disgusting to say the least. The pedophiles are going to be looking after the pedophiles. That's just the way it is, man. That's just the way it is. It's disgusting. Draining the swamp also, is getting rid of the UN. The UN is a failed. I mean, have they done anything correct? I mean, what is their purpose besides a body of? I mean, what is it for? Oh, nations to discuss. Nations can discuss things by picking up the phone and talking to each other. It's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and again, the sooner that we get out of the UN, the better.
Yep.
And by all means, that that these people need to be held, accountable for their actions. But it's just, time after time that we hear the stories regarding the UN and this happening. And yeah, so hopefully, again, getting back to a new administration, a new focus, and I'm sure that DT is aware of these things.
Yeah.
And of these crimes, and times are changing. V, I don't want to end the show on a bad note, but yeah, it's a great time. That these things are going to be real, and these people are going to be prosecuted. I'm very confident of that.
Absolutely, man. And Obama's last thing that he's doing right now, what's that all about, bro? I mean, he's him in Cuba. What's going on over there?
Yeah, so he's not showing any love, for the Cubans anymore. Maybe it has to be with their whole pivot with the amount of imports and everything that they just signed up for. So Obama yesterday ended the visa-free path to freedom for the Cubans. They used to have a policy that if you made it to the United States, no matter how you did it, you made it across here, we were going to give you asylum, and we were going to give you the paperwork to stay in the country, but he ended that. It was a long-standing immigration policy that allowed any Cuban who makes it to U.S. soil to stay and become a legal resident. The repeal of wet foot, dry foot policy is effective immediately. The decision follows months of negotiations focused in part of Cuba to agree to take back people who had arrived in the U.S. So, and again, as much as they're saying, hey, Trump's wanted to build a wall and they're slamming it, for this. And then you look at this policy that Obama just ended. Do you think the MSM are going to cover this? How much do you think they're going to share this? It doesn't fit their narrative, V.
No, it really doesn't whatsoever, man. This guy's administration has no clue. I mean, what did he do? Like, I'm looking back at his legacy. I think his legacy, besides destroying race relations, wrecking the economy, making school lunches absolutely inevitable. All right, inedible. Absolutely, like oh yeah, alienating the police. What else is this? Oh, setting the Middle East on fire.
Yeah, yeah.
What is this guy's legacy? Please, somebody tell me. It's oh yeah, we're going to give you a visa program. No, we're not going to give you a visa program. Like what a disastrous form. Good riddance, Barry. Dude, we're going to have a party. I'm uncorking the champagne at the Rogue Money offices. I was going to be a party. Oh my God, dude! I tell you, it's 8 years of Obama was like 16 years. It felt like.
Yeah, and it's coming to an end. And you're right. There is no legacy.
Exactly.
There is no legacy at all for this failed administration.
Absolutely. And we're at the end of the show, my man. Would you give your plugs in and
already? Oh wow, yeah.
It's unreal.
All right, cool. Yeah. Thank all of our listeners for being here. Do me a favor before you sign out. Hit the thumbs up button. Give us a like. Show us some love. We appreciate it. Today is Friday, so make it a great day. Go out there and make some great things happen. We got a great show planned for tonight. We got the majority of the entire team of Rogue Money coming together tonight for a live show. So I'm pumped up for that, V. I'm pumped up for that.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for that, and we're gonna be also doing an interview, which I guess we'll post it on the weekend or something, bro.
Yeah. Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna post it on Saturday. Get ready for that one. It's the Gorilla and London Paul, the absolute legend, making his debut on Rogue Money. He's going to be a permanent fixture going forward with the team. So we're really looking forward to that. London Paul is going to be out there. That interview is going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. So listen in on that. Paul's going to be giving the rundown on a lot of things. His greatest talent is his ability. Okay, is his ability to take the most complex situations, tie them all together, simplify it, and then project exactly where the hell the trends are going. This guy's a master of what's going on in global finance and economics. He has a PhD in economics. So get ready. It's V and the absolute legend, London Paul, who is cited more often than not as a source for many, many other individuals that are in the financial world. So get ready for that. I can't wait. So with that being said, this is V the Gorilla in the Economist, and my main man, CJ, the denizen of the airwaves, on another beautiful day. It's Friday, so go for it. Like what CJ said, go for it. Be epic. And also, guys, check us out again on roguemoney.net. Subscribe to the podcast. You look us out on Apple's podcasting app as well as Android ones. And also follow us on Twitter at The Rogue Money and check out the Rogue Money Facebook page. And again, if you are suffering from debt, you want to be relieved from the 'tis the season blues, and you want to have the reset button smashed on your life so you can be free of creditors and debt collectors and get the credit score you deserve, check out my boys over at myfreedomnow.us, myfreedomnow.us, and you can book a call with yours truly. This is V and CJ. We're out. Take it away, CJ.